So, let's see. Five of Pentacles, being left out in the cold. Let's do some week ahead readings while we wait. And yeah, let's see what happens. What can this collective expect in the upcoming week, Spirit? Using the NYC Tarot today. Let's see what we got. Oh, King of Cups. That's a fun card. So definitely this week we can expect to be in our creative bags. We can expect to be putting more time, effort, and energy into the things that we love, whether that be an actual creative project or our family. Could also be into yourself, investing in yourself emotionally, your self-love. Some people may be getting either back into therapy or really doing well in their therapeutic practices. You could be getting into your meditative practices, anything that allows you to open up your heart space. I love how in the background of this card in particular, we've got this painting where we have these two cups that are connected to each other right here, and then we've got these other cups as well. But these two cups that are connected, this is you really knowing how to connect with yourself, knowing how to connect with others, and taking the time to prioritize those connections in a way that fulfills both parties. This is definitely not the type of person who walks away from a lover leaving them unfulfilled, for sure. This is one of those people who always makes sure that they are giving their best, especially in the bedroom. Hey, this guy probably read she comes first. Probably read she comes first. What else do we have here? We've got the Ten of Cups. This Ten of Cups is in reverse. So there could be some issues within the family that are being attempted. There's an attempt at resolution, attempting to resolve. We've got the Knight of Swords on the bottom of the deck. So definitely communication is coming through. For some people, this could be communication with a father figure, with the father in general. But it seems like a certain level of acceptance is trying to be reached. And I do think everybody wants that, whether or not it's as easy to come by as it hopefully could be or should be is a different story, a different question. There could be some discord just in general in the family. And I think that if that's the case, it could be that there's some home life or lifestyle choices that maybe not everybody appreciates. We could be seeing disconnect between a father and son, for example, or between just a parent and a child. And the parent may actually be the one to reach out. I would not be surprised, especially with this Knight of Swords here, would not be surprised if the parent did reach out. And especially talking about or bonding over shared interests. Interestingly enough. What else can we expect in this next week? We got here the King of Swords. See, there we go. That communication coming through. There even could be some discussion of getting like professional help when it comes to a family situation. I would not be surprised if that were the case. We have a little callback here to the Three of Swords on this card. So trying to accurately handle upsetting situations, trying to accurately handle heartbreak, trying to accurately put forth and put forward a direct path towards healing discord and coming at this from a way that is both emotional and logical. This is a week of building emotional intelligence, whether that is just in yourself or if it's with a larger group. Okay. Interestingly, we've got these two kings here. We've got the K at the top of both of these. So K, the letter K could be significant. Possibly also the letter X as well. This is reminding me of this video that I saw the other day where this guy had this car, and the car was like, it was like a water car. They had outfitted the car to like ride across a lake. And it's innovative. It was definitely like, this is like the definition of ghetto fabulous. We loved it. But it just makes me think of like doing whatever you can to get to where you need to go. And the fact that the car was riding over water representing emotion, there's this really serious drive and also innovative way towards taking this emotional path that you need to take in order to get to the other side of where it is that you need to be. So I like that. This week is definitely going to be an introspective one. There could be a lot of journaling involved. For sure, you're going to be doing something that you love. Your family may not understand or accept whatever this thing is that you love, or possibly person. There might be a person. This also could represent two people who have kind of opposing but valid perspectives on a situation, who kind of have to come together and like lovingly discuss their opinions. And I don't know that they're going to come to an accord on this. I don't know that they're going to be able to reconcile their emotions, but that doesn't mean that they can't move past it and move forward. I still have a sense of triumph here with this Ten of Cups in the reverse. Ten of Cups in reverse, nevertheless, it is a happy card. Even in the reversal, it is a happy card. You know, it's about overcoming things and recognizing that even if everything's not perfect, at least you still have, you know, the emotional love and support that you need. You still have everything that you could wish for, even if it didn't show up completely perfectly in our lives. And that makes sense because, you know, nobody is perfect, right? So you may find the love of your life. That doesn't mean that they're a perfect person. You may have, you know, a good relationship with your parent, with your father. That doesn't mean that your father's a perfect person, right? So it's just remembering that despite the imperfections, despite the flaws, or despite the times of not seeing eye to eye, you still do have everything that you want in this life, or you have everything that you could ever need in this life. You really, it's about wants. It's about that emotional self-satisfaction, that wish fulfillment of the Nine of Cups. You have all of those things, even if they don't look exactly how you thought that they would, even if they don't look exactly perfect, even if they're not as, you know, technicolor, bright, or nuanced as the way that you think that they could be or possibly should be. You still have all of the things that you want or need in your life. And I think that that's a beautiful, beautiful concept. I think that's a beautiful reading. What else do we have here for the next week upcoming? Well, we did get the Chariot card here. I was getting that with this this bus represented on the King's Highway as well. That's interesting. So we could have some Game of Thrones watchers in here. King's Highway being on here. I just started watching Game of Thrones. I'm actually almost done now. I'm on season 8, and I just have to say I'm so glad that I did not watch that show when it was like on live, because I would have been so pissed off having to wait 8 years for the ending and for the outcome. I would have been so mad. Anyway, King's Highway, it's like being on a mission to go somewhere. This week, I definitely see you being on a mission. Being on a mission not only to appreciate the things that you have and remember your gratitude, but also to put yourself in put yourself in like this holy position. And by holy position, I don't mean like above other people, but I mean like in your own life. Crowning yourself the king of your own life. You're the person who sits on that iron throne of your own life. You're the driver in the driver's seat. And not only are you remembering that, and not only are you, you know, making plans to actually be and do that, but you're doing it in a way that's emotionally fulfilling for you. Not for anybody else, for you. I think it's so interesting that in this card we have Jean-Michel Basquiat, and he's standing in front of one of his paintings that's in a gallery, and yet he's wearing a suit, and the suit is covered in paint. And it's just kind of like, there are expectations that other people may have in terms of how you show up in the world or the things that you do in the world, but that doesn't mean that you have to completely conform to the way that they expect you to be. You can still show up and put your own spin on it, or let your true self, your true style shine through. No matter how you are, no matter what level of success that you reach, you can allow your true self to shine through. And you can do it your way, I think, is also an important concept here as well. It's interesting that this king on the King of Swords is represented by this bus driver, because I think that a lot of people don't necessarily have like high opinions about public servants like that, bus drivers and other people who keep the city moving. And they think that it's like about the money. It's not necessarily about the money. I think it's about the status. And the King of Swords, they recognize that outward status doesn't really matter. What matters is that you have a plan for where you're going in your life. And then also I think that there's like a certain level of respect that comes along with this. You're not going to disrespect the bus driver. That's an important point that I have to make. It's not where this reading is going, but you definitely don't want to disrespect the bus driver. They are the one who's helping you get to where you need to be. And you are the one who's helping other people get to where they need to be. You're the bus driver in this scenario. There are people who are getting on your bus with you, and you're helping them to arrive safely at their various destinations, whether they hop on and hop off, or they stay with you from the beginning of the route to the end of the route. You're the one who's leading them. This is about leadership in a way that is so, okay, I'm thinking about like literally how bus drivers, they follow certain routes, right? And like they don't plan the route necessarily, but somebody does, right? The Swords suit can often talk about things like the legal profession, the law, things like that. But it also talks about, to a degree, it talks about communication and spirituality. And so I think that, and like mentalism, right? I think that you're helping people figure out where they need to go. And while there may be a pre-planned route, now we're going to talk about fate and things like that, but there may be a pre-planned route. That doesn't mean that you can't help people. And that doesn't, also you've been on that route before. And I think that you're recognizing that there's a certain level of expertise that you have when it comes to traveling in this way, because you've been here over and over again. If you're here watching this, if you're part of this collective, it means that you are an old soul. You've been on this route many times, and you're able to guide others. And you're helping them to understand the emotional aspects of themselves, of their lives, and the authenticity that they can bring, especially when it comes to their emotional space. Some of you may have had issues in the past with being out of touch with your emotions, and you may have had to find like a creative outlet to get you more in touch, to get you into that space of being in touch with your emotions. I say this because, the King of Cups not only is a masculine figure, and of course, these are describing energies and not actual genders, but masculine energies in our society, at least, are often socialized to not show their feelings, not represent their feelings, not talk about their feelings, and sometimes not even to feel their feelings. But in order to create good art, or even really art at all, but especially good art, you have to be in touch with your heart space. And so this is about getting in touch with your heart space and being able to communicate what your heart is saying, whether that's through visual media, through music, through dance, painting, acting, any other kind of just any art form, sculpture, ceramics, photography, whatever art form you so choose. It's understanding that your emotions are a divine gift. Your emotions are divine is something that I want to say. And that being able to communicate those deftly is an important aspect of reaching your self-actualization. And it's interesting because these two things, these two kings, they go hand in hand. They are, in fact, so well yoked. These two kings are going together. And although the King of Swords may be, more purely mental and intellectual, and the King of Cups may be more emotional, they're both actually air, represented by air. All kings are the air of the courts, the AIR of the courts. So like King of Cups is air of water. King of Swords is air of air. King of Wands is air of fire. And King of Pentacles is air of earth. So they both have that air aspect about them. They both know how to intellectualize and communicate moving forward. So they're both equally yoked. And yes, nothing's perfect. You may not have everything your ideal exact way that you want it, but that doesn't mean that you don't have the things that you want. So I definitely see there being a lot of progress this week. This week could be a big week for progress. This is exciting. And I think also that there is a lot of, I want to say the word hope. I find that interesting. I don't really know where that came from. I guess it could come from the King of Cups. But I do think the King of Cups would be like more confident that his things are going to go well rather than hopeful that his things are going to go well. But this is like a time of driving into the next chapter. This is a time of moving into a space where you feel more at home. We keep getting home aspects here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but on this Chariot card, there's like a little Cancer sign right there, like I Cancer NYC. And the Cancer sign, that is a sign that is very much associated with home. It's also associated with the moon. I've got my dog here in my lap with me, and he just is clamoring for attention. He wants it. He needs it so bad. Yeah. And with the Ten of Cups here, also in reverse, it's this aspect of home as well, too. You may not be fully happy with the things that are going on in your home life, but you recognize that you have everything that you need. And I think you'll also be taking steps to find that home that you would be perfectly happy with. Find that home. Some of you guys may actually be moving to New York. Some of you guys might be New Yorkers. This is the NYC Tarot from Etsy. So shout out to NYC, my former home of many years. But yeah, making a plan to get where you want to be, to get where you want to go, and to, be grateful for what you have, but also recognize that you have this creative power where you can take that thing that isn't perfect and you can figure out a way to make it what you want, to make it what you want it to be. This is my doggy, you guys. Can you see him? That's him right there. We're both faceless divas. We don't want to be on the camera. My sweet boy. I don't know if he wants to get down or not. I guess we'll find out. Do you want to come back up here? You want to come back up here? You want to come back up here? Okay. He's so spoiled. Anyway, if anybody wants like a personal reading, I do offer them. The link is in my bio on my page, but I will also do personal readings here If you are interested, you can do a donation page, but I will also do personal readings here. If you are interested, you can do a donation to my Cash App, KJJ189, for a reading. Anyway, let's see. What else is there? Is there anything else for this week? Yes, we've got here. Ooh, the Nine of Pentacles. All right, so this week, some of you guys might be getting paid. Some of you guys might be taking out some money. You might be going shopping this week. I just saw on her bag it says I Heart Pigeons on here. And I actually just went to the grocery store earlier today, like right before I got back, and there was a pigeon in the grocery store parking lot. So if you've been seeing pigeons, then you're definitely part of my collective. Some of you guys will be finding a sense of emotional and material stability this week. This is so exciting. This is so exciting. So we have like an echo of the Nine of Cups here with this Ten of Cups reversed, but we actually have the Nine of Pentacles out here. And you're finding this space of independence, the space of being able to care for yourself, to give yourself everything that you've ever wanted. Give and gift yourself everything that you've ever wanted. I feel like I want to ring my little sound bowl. Welcome in for tarot readings. This week, this is a week where you're going to be able to give yourself everything that you want and need with this Nine of Pentacles right here. Some of you guys could be getting paid. I would not be surprised if you got a nice fat paycheck. If you had to go maybe grocery shopping this week and you get yourself a little flower pot, maybe you buy a new plant. Some of you guys could be into house plants. Would not be surprised if that was the case. But generally, I think that you're figuring out what you want to take with you and what you don't want to take with you. Some of you guys could literally be donating things to Goodwill, but this is more about the security that you bring with you into any room that you enter. And that could be general self-confidence security, but it also could be the actual, like, your cards, your wallet, and knowing that, like, your bills are paid, knowing that you can afford whatever it is that you need to buy. You're not having to, check your balances before buying things this week, which makes you feel very secure. I like that. What else is there for this week? We've got here, this is the Three of Pentacles in reverse. Some of you guys may be finding ways to get that security without actually having to work like maybe a traditional job, working in a traditional way. This is exciting. So we definitely have some creatives in the group, in the collective, with this King of Cups here. Sorry, I just got a text from my mom and I was reading it. Yeah, I would not be surprised if you figured out a way to make some money doing something that you love. We've got these two hearts on these two cards. There's the heart here in the clouds, right? And then there's also a heart here on her little bag saying, I heart pigeons, right? I did say pigeons could be a sign or a symbol of confirmation for you guys. But I think that you're going to find a way to find that security doing something that you love. And it may not even feel like work. It could be work, but it may not feel like work. So, yay, what a week. What a week. I love this week. This is a great week. More for the week. Oh, my dog is here. He's like putting his paw on me. He's like, stop, stop. So I was about to pick up another card, but I'm going to sit with these cards for a minute because I take everything as a sign. My dog told me to stop when I was picking up the new cards, so we're going to heed his advice. My little familiar. And let's see what it says. What am I getting here? Interestingly enough, we've got the same skyline in both of these cards. Or at least a partial skyline. You see how the Empire State Building is visible in both. Well, let's see. I assume this is the Empire State Building, but the perspective that she has on this card versus this card is a little bit off. Regardless, that could just be like an art thing, but there aren't really multiple buildings in New York that have that same shape with like the spindle on top. So we're going to say yes, it is. And so I think that this is like this, we're here, the Chariot is moving forward from this space, this Ten of Cups in reverse. Ten of Cups in reverse is still a good card, but like I said, it's like you have everything that you want, you're happy where you are. Yes, there is something missing, but you have everything that you need to be emotionally fulfilled. I do think that you might still be looking for wish fulfillment though. And so you could be moving on to a next step in your life with the Chariot here. I would not be surprised if that next step of your life is, in fact, something work-related. But with that being the case, with the King of Cups and the King of Swords here, I am definitely confident that you're going to figure it out, because you're going to have the mental acuity and the mental capacity to figure out the logistics, and you'll have the creativity and the emotional intelligence and the emotional capacity to actually fulfill your dreams. And I don't think it will feel like work. Maybe you won't hit all of your targets immediately. Some of you guys may end up collaborating with other people on parts of it, and you maybe end up doing parts of it independently. We have here with this Three of Pentacles and this Nine of Pentacles, it's kind of like a tether between the independent side of yourself and the connected side of yourself. I find that interesting because we did earlier talk about the tether here on these two cups. In the background on this painting, there's like a tether holding these two cups together, and discussion of not only bringing yourself emotional fulfillment, but also helping others to reach their emotional fulfillment through connection. And so I think that part of this message is being able to keep your own stable, independent feelings of not only self-worth, but also self-sufficiency while you work with some possibly unpleasant people. Some potentially unpleasant people or unpleasant circumstances. Because with this Three of Pentacles in reverse, it's like, it's not the perfect partnership. We're getting that message twice here with this Ten of Cups in reverse and this Three of Pentacles in reverse. It's not the perfect partnership. But that doesn't mean that you can't still uphold your own values and still believe in yourself within that. I like that. Is there more? Yes. Let's see. Ooh, Four of Wands. Speaking of partnership again, I'm going to go ahead and put that up there. You're climbing to new heights. Climbing to new heights. You may meet somebody this week. Some of you guys might go on a date this week. Ooh, or go to a party. Go to some sort of fun gathering. Possibly a house party for some of you. Ooh, interesting. Maybe some of you guys are throwing a house party. But you're reaching new heights with this Four of Wands here. This is our first Wands card. The Chariot, to me, for some reason, there is like a fiery energy there, even though it's associated with Cancer, which is more, it's a water sign. It still has this fiery energy because it's about like drive, right? And that makes me think of fire, you know, combustible engines. You drive your car with the gas and the combustible engine. But I just feel like this is something fun to look forward to, this Four of Wands moment. It's something fun to look forward to. Regardless, whether it's not, even if it's not a date or a party or something like that, you will have something to celebrate this week. That's very clear. You will have a win. You will have something to celebrate. And I'm going back to this King of Cups here because I spoke earlier about how it's like he's pictured at an art exhibit, one of his own art exhibits. And even though he's, you know, dressed in a way that's more unique to him, he's still celebrating something. And so I feel like you are figuring out how to do something on your own terms with this Nine of Pentacles here. And you're going to be celebrating. That's exciting. I love that. Excuse me, I just had a yawn. A big old yawn. I'm not really tired. I just meditated for quite a while before I came in here. So I'm going to bring out a different deck. And we're going to find out what this deck has to say. I'm going to be getting the Wild Unknown Archetypes by Kim Krans. Let's go ahead and get this out. Is somebody gonna match my freak? Is somebody gonna match my freak? Is somebody gonna match my nasty? Got stamina. He said I'm an athlete. That song has been stuck in my head all day long. For real. Alright, Spirit. Let's see. What does this deck want to add to this message here? Oh, some cards just fell out right onto the floor. We have the Box, the Judge. Oh no. Oh Lord. Not more. I had the deck in my lap and then it started like slipping from my lap and now a whole bunch of cards are on the floor. Let me go ahead and get those. Hold on. Is somebody gonna match my freak? Is somebody gonna match my freak? Is somebody gonna match my master? I got stamina. So they actually popped out in 2 different piles of cards. So we're gonna go through those in a minute. But for now, let's stick with these 3. We have the Judge, the Bardo, and the Box. So the Bardo, that is about being in kind of a liminal space. Liminal space meaning being somewhere in the in-between. Welcome, welcome to the live, Princess Ice. But yeah, we're doing a collective reading right now. So this is about the week ahead. This is about being in a liminal space, being somewhere that you know is temporary, and feeling stuck, feeling confined in that temporary space. I do think you're trying to make the best of it with this King of Cups and this King of Swords here, trying to make the best of it. And it could be also helping you to see things differently. You see how there's just like this giant eye in the middle of it? I think it's helping you learn how to see things differently, how to discern, how to judge things on a different plane. You're learning what you will accept, what you won't accept, what you should and should not accept. And I think that you're also figuring out your boundaries more, which would make sense with this King of Swords back here in the back. Figuring out what your limits are, what your boundaries are. Some of you guys may be working on your budgets this week with this Nine of Pentacles here and the Box. You could be kind of trying to figure out what your financial constraints or restrictions are. And those words, like, they could sound scary or sad, especially if you're kind of used to buying whatever you want. But I think that part of this Nine of Pentacles is like having a mature attitude towards money and putting your needs first, buying things that you need before the things that you want. Not to say you can't have the things that you want, but it is a more self-affirmed and responsible kind of attitude when it comes to how you take care of yourself. And so sometimes it's important to place boundaries and limitations on ourselves, because we can't always go around being like the limit does not exist. And I'm not trying to impose upon anybody, you know, a limited mindset in terms of thinking that you can only grow so far, you can only go so far. But it's more about understanding that it's not a bad thing, for example, to have a bedtime. You know, it's not a bad thing, for example, to limit the amount of food that you will allow yourself to eat, right? It's okay to moderate things. Maybe moderation or moderate is a better word than limitations. But I think that it can be a good idea sometimes to do that, because it's like, you're protecting yourself in a way. You see how we have this like shiny thing here in the middle of this box? And that shiny thing could be seen as a prize. This box could also even be seen like a maze. Shiny thing is at the middle of that maze. And this box is representing to me discipline right now. And as soon as I said that, it made me think of like a boxing match or a boxing ring, and being excellent within a certain space, being excellent within, not within even certain bounds, because it's not like they step out of the ring and they're suddenly not excellent anymore, but being within an arena and pursuing that excellence within an arena, you know, knowing the rules of a game, I think is important here. Something interesting coming up right now is that both of these cards, the Judge and the Bardo, they both have these skulls on them. There's one right here, and then all of these around this eye. And to me, there's this idea, oh, and is this an eye also? I can't tell. That might be an eye too. I'm not sure. But it does have a similar color palette in terms of what's going on here in this Bardo card. I think that this is zooming in on something. Zooming in on a time and a place. Zooming in on even time constraints. Because that's something too. We do have a limited amount of time. It would be foolish for us to think that our time on this earth was limitless. And I know that some people, you know, if you believe in reincarnation, I guess you could see it that way in terms of it is limitless if you're always coming back. But in this lifetime, it's limited. And so figuring out how to find like that juicy, beautiful, shiny thing that you want within the limits, or how to even protect that beautiful, juicy thing that you already have within you, within these limits. I definitely see this week you being in a space where you're like, I don't feel like wasting time. I don't feel like having anybody waste my time with this Three of Pentacles in reverse. I think that you are over it. You're like, I'm not allowing anybody to waste my time anymore, whether that's at work or in a relationship, or if you're in like a third party situation with somebody. I think that you're kind of like, I deserve better than this. I deserve better than what you're showing me, than what you're giving me. And I'm going to move on with my things. And I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm trying to get comfortable in this chair. This chair is like very small. I need a bigger chair. I need a different chair, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely see you exerting your boundaries and coming up with new boundaries, especially when it comes to your love life, because we talked earlier about how this King of Swords has this little like mini Three of Swords here on the I Heart NYC. There's like a little Three of Swords heart. So I think that you are managing the pain, any pain that you have had from past relationships, any, negative mental thoughts or mental states. You are managing those in a way that is increasingly healthy. And I think that you are putting boundaries up with people who kind of take you out of that mentality. And you're finding ways to keep yourself stable. So you can move forward. Yes, independence is coming through. This week is a week of independence. INDEPNDENT. Do you know what that means? She got her own house. She got her own car. 2 jobs, work hard. You a bad broad. If you ain't on, sit down. 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 I'm going to go look in the book. The box just came up first. I was looking for the judge, but the box got here first. So, let's see. The cage, the rules, the norm. Moving outside of the box is exhilarating and expansive, but destabilizing. We've been talking about stability here, for sure, both emotional and mental stability. Others will wonder what you are doing and why. You will too. This is part of the process. Something that I'm thinking of right now is on that TV show. There's like a UK TV show called Skins. And they tried to make a US version of it. It didn't really work. It was on MTV. It didn't really work. And then some people say that like Euphoria is kind of like the US version of Skins, even though I think that Euphoria is supposed to be based off like an Israeli show. I don't really know. I don't watch Euphoria. Anyway, in the show Skins, the UK version, there is this character. I don't remember what her name is. I know that she's played by this girl named like Kaya Scodelario or something like that. Effie. Her name is Effie on the show. And she is out of control. Completely out of control. Doing drugs all over the place. Really suffering from like a lot of mental health issues, and just like completely lacks boundaries, completely lacks any sort of rules or discipline or anything like that, and like it's ruining her life at the end of the day. And she ends up having to go to rehab, and while she's at rehab, she learns how to impose some limits and some boundaries on herself and on her behavior to help implement a healthier lifestyle. And she benefits from it. I mean, what is there to say? She benefits from it. And all of her friends are like, what happened to the Effie that we know and love, who is like crazy and going out, having sex with everybody and doing all these drugs and, doing crazy things and blah, blah, blah. And she had to make this shift, and they don't seem to understand that she had to make the shift for her mental health and for her general health and for her livelihood, because she was very much in this in-between space where it was like she could have gone either way, straight to the grave or to become, a successful person. And she had to impose some limits. Other people helped her, but eventually, she became responsible for them. I just remember this like scene where she is, and I haven't seen the show in so long, but I remember this scene where she's like, she has a calendar, and she's like crossing days off or like putting things on the calendar that she never would have done that before. Before, she didn't even know what day it was. She didn't even know what day it was. And now here she is, with her calendar, and she's using her calendar as a way to keep track of, is she taking her medication, and what she's supposed to be doing in her life. And so I think that that's where this week is going to have some interesting themes for you, because you're recognizing that limits or boundaries, or let's call them constraints. I think constraints is a fine word, because especially when we're thinking about scheduling, right? It's like if you're doing something from 10 to 11, that's a constraint. Your time is already occupied, and then also you're only going to do that thing during that amount of time. So some of you guys could be working on your schedules this week. I wouldn't be surprised if you started to decide to make prioritize certain things and actually put those down to paper and make plans about them. I would not be surprised at all if you decided to start going to bed at a certain time, or start waking up at a certain time, start, doing a routine in a certain way. Routine definitely can be very constraining. And as I'm saying it, there is resistance to that. I'm saying it, and there's resistance. So, I mean, however you end up working within the limitations that you are going to be putting on yourself, working through that maze to try and find this good thing, to try and find this treasure or whatever, I think you're going to be excited to do it, but there are parts of it I think that still scare you. Like the whole idea of being trapped in a box, being put in a box. There's definitely still fear here of having to have the same day over and over again. Yeah. Let's see. We all live to some degree within the confines of the box. This archetype represents everything that is known, anticipated, and expected. It holds us in place while simultaneously holding us back from our greatest visions. The box is sneaky, insidious, and everywhere, limiting us at the most unconscious levels. It is built of layer upon layer of social constructs and pressures. Breaking through its confines requires awareness, continued effort, and bravery. The box may appear as expectations from parents, a well-paying but heartless job, the pressure to look or behave like others, or simply to stay small. So yeah, we've been talking about looking like other people a lot with this Basquiat card here, this King of Cups. I think that you're finding ways to be in the box while also expressing yourself in the way that you think outside of the box, right? It's like he's wearing a suit, which would be quote unquote in the box, but he's doing something non-traditional. He's a painter. That's non-traditional. And he shows his non-traditional aspects through the paint on his suit. So you might be doing something or trying to appear in a way that is either common or confined, but you are doing it in a way that allows you to kind of toe the line and be in that liminal space with the Bardo here and still express yourself creatively. And you're like, I'm going to do it my way. I'm not like you. They're not like us. They're not like us. They're not like us. When light, the box can represent structure, order, coherence, and logic. But when dark, it can express limitation, rigidity, judgment, and fear. That's that fear I was thinking of, that I was feeling. Interesting that the word judgment came up when we literally have the judge here. We're going to go find the judge next, hopefully. I read from the book in the order that that they come to me. I was looking for the judge originally, but the box came first, so we found it first. But yeah, the words, structure, order, coherence, and logic, those feel mostly accurate to what I was talking about earlier with that character Effie from Skins. She had a life that was wholly unstructured, and it was causing her issues. It's like when you don't have structure, I think it's difficult for you to plan for or think about the future. And because she didn't have any thoughts or plans about the future, she was doing a lot of self-destructive things in the moment. And so being able to add some structure, some order. Structure is a good word. I like the word structure. Being able to add some structure into her life, and you being able to add some structure into your life, I think will be good for you. Interesting thought here about these flowers on this card. They're each like potted. You know, they're in this potted plant right here. And it's like, in the wild, they grow wherever they want. But here in this plant pot, they have structure, and there's this aspect of taking care of someone, being taken care of. You know, intentionality, intentional watering. And I think that there's a lot more intentionality coming through here with this reading. Doing things intentionally. Let's see where we go from here. All right, we've got the Judge, the Critic, the Diplomat, the Advocate. Gandhi had an incredibly illuminated inner judge. He was a lawyer. He practiced silence one day a week in order to hone his discernment. We talked about discernment earlier, while on his revolutionary path. The Judge's energy is contagious. When we feel judged, walls, this box, the walls go up all around. Similarly, when we feel accepted, the entire world softens. When light, the Judge represents discernment, advocacy, right action, and compassion. But when dark, it represents critical, punishing, unforgiving, wall building. To go deeper, Osiris and the white feather of Ma'at. The Judge has an incredibly important job. They work every waking hour of every day, helping us discern what is safe, true, and just. So that can also definitely be represented here. Interesting. I didn't think about it this way until just now, but a bard is like a teller of stories, and we have the bardo here, and that could be a King of Cups type of figure. And then we have the Judge, which the King of Swords easily represents a judge. So it's interesting when the cards, like, they pick up on the same kind of energy. Anyway, when this archetype remains unconscious or is captivated by fear, wise discernment turns into painful judgment of self and other. Ironically, the Judge's energy can be the seed of racism, bigotry, and fear-mongering. This is the Judge out of balance, building walls, separating from other. When the same discerning force is made conscious and healed, however, the Judge may be found advocating for civil rights causes, standing up for the underdog, providing resources for those in need, and forgiving again and again. Love is the deciding factor. Awakening this archetype is essential for the complex times we're in. Get your Judge in order. The world needs it. Interesting. All right. I feel like I want to clear these cards. Yeah, we're going to clear this, and we're going to go